Good evening and welcome to the Carlisle Local School District Board meeting for tonight, Monday, December 13th, 2021. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education and a public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Can I get roll call, please, Mr. Bassler?
Mrs. McIntosh.
Yes. Here.
Mrs. Lanehart.
Here.
Mr. Jewell.
Here.
Mrs. Miller.
Here.
Mrs. Milligan.
Here.
Sorry, I'm very loud and that threw me off. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next portion of our meeting is visitors' comments. Visitors that wish to address the board are requested to state their name, address, topic, and organization if appropriate, and comply with the board policy pertaining to visitors. All meetings of the board and the board-approved committees will be open to the public. In order for the board to fulfill the obligations to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation will be permitted at each meeting. Any person addressing the board shall state his or her name and address and will be allotted no more than 3 minutes to speak. During that period, no person may speak twice unless allowed by the board president or presiding officer. All comments should be directed to the board president or presiding officer. Do we have anyone who would like to speak this evening? Okay. Mr. Bassler, could we have the treasury report for this month?
What if I don't want to speak this evening? Is that okay? Do I get a choice?
Well, you don't get a choice.
First thing for me is non-action items. It's not on here, but a quick audit update. Right now, we're kind of in between the cash basis of our audit and the GAAP portion of our audit. So fortunately for us, we have been kind of quiet over the last week or two with audit questions and information. And as I told you before, it's nice to not have them on site, but when they're not on site and requesting information, it's more work for us. So it's kind of nice not having them requesting information and us chasing it down and scanning it and sending it to them. To date, I'm not aware of any issues. All the information that they've asked for, we've gotten to them, and basically with no follow-up. So I take that as being good news. So that's kind of where we stand with the audit. I would imagine either later this month or the beginning of January, it'll crank back up again with the GAAP portion of our audit. So with that, action items, I need approval for the minutes from the last regularly scheduled meeting, which was November 15th.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? First by Mr. Jewell, second by Mrs. Lanehart. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Bassler.
Mr. Jewell? Yes. Mrs. Lanehart?
Yes.
Mrs. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Milligan?
Yes.
And next is a financial report as it is submitted as part of your packet. I really don't have anything new to report, just regular expenses going on. The only thing that I would mention about finances is previously I had told you that the Fair Funding Act, our first payment was supposed to be with the foundation settlement in the first pay of December, and that is no longer the case. December is just going to be regular pays from the previous calculation, status quo, no change, and the first pay in January is supposed to reflect our first payment with the Fair Funding Act. Again, fingers crossed, I'm expecting it to be very good for Carlisle, but I don't like to count any chickens before they hatch, so I don't want to say that it's going to be that much better, but on paper and projections are it's supposed to be better for Carlisle. And hopefully not the organizational meeting, but the second January meeting that we have, I'll be able to give a little bit better update on where we stand with funding from the Fair Funding Act. With that, if I don't have any questions, I need approval for the financial report for the month of December.
Can I get a motion to approve? So moved. First by Mrs. Milligan. Second by Mrs. Lainhart. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Bassler.
Mrs. Milligan,
Yes.
Mrs. Lainhart,
Yes.
Mr. Jewell,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. McIntosh.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's my long report for the month.
Thank you, Mr. Bassler. Dr. Bell, can we have your superintendent's report, please?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, non-action items for building update. Moving right along, we've got, I think we got a few days left, don't we, still till Christmas break? I don't know, 4? Okay, I know you guys would be counting out there. Going along well. They've done a nice job keeping everything contained. The kids have done a lot of neat things out in the classrooms, and we're excited, and they're finishing strong here before the winter break, Christmas break, so I appreciate that. A few things to let you know. We did have completed our calendar input. We're gathering some information from the staff as far as which one they were going to adopt for the next 2 years. That's gone well. There will be one minor change to it if you've looked at it, but it wouldn't affect the voting because it's the same change on calendar A and B. So which one it was when they picked. It was just going to be one of the PD days would be switched to a different Friday. And want to thank the calendar committee. Then we had Sam Lips, Erica Sprandel, Sam Lee, Erica Sprandel, Stacy Lips, and Kim Harris, along with the ambassador, Danny Turner, and Mike Milner. And they did put a lot of time in and made everything work. And I'm sure once we get that, we'll have Mr. Bassler look it over, make sure he's the counter there, and make sure we have all of our days accounted for. So. We want to thank our young people. They've been doing a great job. Winter sports started up, and they're doing a nice showing there. Along with that, we had a wonderful musical, if you were able to come. White Christmas, one of my wife's and I's favorite, and it was a great show. Even with, I think we got all the artificial snow out of the carpet, so that was good. It was great. They did a nice job. And then the choir concert was wonderful. Mrs. Shively put on, and then we've got a band concert this Thursday. I believe it's 7 p.m. here, so that'll be another wonderful activity to showcase our kids. And the other thing that we had just completed was our United Way campaign for the year, and we certainly want to thank all the staff members that contributed to that, and they will be, the winning team will be duly rewarded, so we're looking forward to that. Item number 2, board member recognition. Bittersweet. We certainly want to thank and commend Mrs. Lainhart for all the years she put in, all the meetings. I don't know what 24 times 12 is, plus any special meetings and organizational meetings, but that's a lot of meetings to come through and sit with some of us for an extended period of time, and we certainly want to thank her for that. And on that, we have a token of our appreciation that Mr. Bassler and I would like to present to her. And if anybody on the board would like to say anything to Mrs. Lainhart about that right now, we can do that. But I think Mrs. Dearwest is going to get a picture of us presenting this to Mrs. Lainhart. You want to go up front or you want to do it here? Yeah.
All right, better do one more. I'm not that great with technology. Okay, one, two, ready? Look how much of this, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. Yeah, flip phone.
Yes, she needs to open it. So Tammy, while you are opening that, I just want to say that for the last 4 years, when I first came on, I knew what a school board did, but not from the board member perspective, and you really answered all of my questions. I know I had a lot, and guided me through the beginning of this, and I appreciate that, and we appreciate your service.
Wherever you want to do it. I thought she said while you're opening it. Not yet. Yeah. Until it hits the air.
Not till the top comes open.
That's right.
Well, I know
Lisa
you,
did too good a job with the ribbon,
I was going to say, I know you guys didn't put that ribbon on there.
Hey.
Don't drop it.
Well, that's pretty.
What's it say? What's it say?
Amy Langhart, 24 years, Carl Local School Board. Thank you.
It's got the bottom, and the bottom it's got the...
Oh, it does, it's got the C.
It's very nice.
Did you want to say something now, or you want to wait till the end?
What?
You want to say something now or till the end? When do you want to talk?
Oh, wait.
Okay. There you go. All right, thank you. Item B, action items. The first item is general district business. A is approve the second reading of the following policies. We went through those last month for the first reading, and as we said, majority of those were to bring us up to alignment with all the other policies across the state, as well as some language corrections that they had. So if you have any questions on those, please let me know. And then item B is approve a memorandum of understanding with the Carlisle Teachers Association to establish a new supplemental gifted coordinator position for the 2021-2022 school year, which was attachment C. So if I get a motion to approve those, I would appreciate it.
Can I get a motion to approve the action items?
So moved.
First by Mrs. Milligan. I'll second. Can I get roll call, please, Mr. Bassler?
Mrs. Milligan?
Yes.
Mrs. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mrs. Lainhart? Mr. Jewell?
Yes.
And Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Thank you, and that takes us to item B2 is a supplemental employment. Now that we have that supplemental for the gifted coordinator, we've got Katie Amos as the gifted coordinator for 60%. She will be taking care of the K through 6, and Deanne Johnson as 40% gifted coordinator. She'll be taking care of 7 through 12.
Can I get a motion to approve the supplemental employment? First by Mr. Jewell.
Second.
Is it you? Second by Mrs. Milligan. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Bassler.
Mr. Jewell?
Yes.
Mrs. Milligan?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Lainhart? Mrs. McIntosh?
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's all the action items I have for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. Now we'll move on to the Board of Education reports. A, legislative report. There is nothing new going on to report currently. I'll keep watch. Mrs. Lainhart for Miami Valley CTC.
I do not have a report for tonight.
Any old business? Any new business? We do have one item. We need a motion for the board to elect a member to act as president pro tem for January 3rd's organizational meeting.
Go ahead, go. I'll nominate you if that's what it is.
Bill said he'll nominate me. Is that how we do this?
Yeah.
We need a nomination and then a second on the nomination.
I'll second.
Okay, first nomination is from, for me, for Molly McIntosh from Mr. Jewell, and second is Mrs. Milligan.
Any other,
Any other people? Any discussion? So can I get roll call, please, Mr. Bassler?
Mr. Jewell?
Yes.
Mrs. Milligan?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Lainhart?
Yes.
Mrs. McIntosh?
Would I abstain or?
You
say
can,
yes? Yes.
you can vote no if you'd like. Oh, but we'll go with abstain.
Yes. And we also have a notice that our tax budget hearing and the 2021-2022 calendar hearing will be January 3rd, 2022 at 5:45 PM. The organizational meeting will immediately follow at 6 PM. It will be here. Any questions or discussion?
The only thing I'd like to say, it's been an honor to serve with you over the years. I really appreciate it. I've learned a lot from you, and I've enjoyed it.
Tammy, I know you have a little bit that you would like to say.
Yes. Good evening. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my family, staff, and community. I said I'm not going to cry after all this, but anyways, for supporting me on the Carlisle Local School Board. For the past 24 years, it has not always been rainbows and butterflies. But one of the best things about being on the school board was graduation for me. I saw those seniors walk across this stage to get their diploma. For me, that was as good as it was going to get. When we can see the product. So thanks again, and that's all I'm saying.
Tammy, thank you again so much for your service to our community and our schools. If we don't have anything else for this evening, I would like to call for adjournment.
So moved.
Mrs. Lanehart got a first on that one. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Jewell. Can I have roll call, please, Mr. Bassler?
Last time. Mrs. Lanehart.
Yes.
Mr. Jewell.
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Milligan.
Yes.
Mrs. McIntosh.
Yes.
Time is 6:17.
Thank you all for coming.